for a deeper dive on the EU-Ukraine summit. We're joined by Aurel Braun. He's the professor of international relations and political science at the University of Toronto. Good to see you. I'm just going to get to the hard question here first, and that is, for the EU, what is the end game of what they're trying to do? Is it to defeat Russia, or is it to have a stalemate, or is it to collect land back that was supposedly taken, and all these things? What is the end game for the European folks there?
The declared goal is that Russia should vacate all the territories that it acquired in Ukraine as a result of aggression. Whether they will be able to achieve that through sanctions, that is another matter. Sanctions are corrosive. They take a long time to work. They are complex, and they operate most efficiently together with other means, such as military measures. So at this stage, it's a very difficult thing to read just how effective these sanctions are, but the goals clearly are to make sure that Russia does not gain as a result of its attack on Ukraine.
Right. So here's what we do know. There's certainly been money that's been given for humanitarian reasons. We have a lot of defensive weapons. The recent announcement of sending tanks to assist with the defense of Ukraine, and there's now talk of potentially sending fighter jets as well. It seems to me that we're going from defense to potentially offense here. And if they're going to go to offense, there's going to be repercussions, and obviously President Putin is going to be very unhappy with this. Does this put more pressure on the EU, or perhaps cause them to pause in what they're trying to achieve?
Clearly, Vladimir Putin has tried to intimidate the collective West. He has made dire threats, going back to the decision by Sweden and Finland to end their neutrality, to join NATO, and those so-called red lines never materialized. In other words, Russia, which is but a remnant of the Soviet Union, does not have the same power. It does not have the same ability to really frighten the West. And what is remarkable, that 1 year after this invasion, the West has held together relatively well. The Ukrainians are undoubtedly disappointed that they have not been given all of the armaments that they have asked for. The dividing line between defense and offense is not that simple in international relations. The Ukrainians would argue that since they are trying to take back their own territory, nothing is really an offensive operation, it is defensive. In the case of Russia, they have claimed that there is no Ukraine, there are no Ukrainian people, and consequently, territories that they annex are Russian territory, and any attempt to liberate those territories, to retake those territories, is aggression. The West is not really buying this any longer.
Would you say, and I've heard experts talk about this, that there is always this, what the West is being threatened with is this, the word escalation. Because if it escalates and the West is the reason it's been escalated, then President Putin perhaps might take additional steps to retaliate. And it's something that we can't not think about. The threats are serious, even though not all of them have come through. But certainly, for example, the gas situation over the winter, while it didn't pan out the way some experts thought, I mean, those are very serious threats that did actually play out.
You are correct that all threats coming from Russia, and Russia is a nuclear state, should be taken seriously. But it is another matter to say that the West is not capable of deterring Russia, or that Russia cannot be defeated, or that the West collectively is not able to institute both effective military help as well as powerful sanctions. There will be a 10th round of sanctions. The sanctions are beginning to have an effect not just in terms of denying Russia markets, and Russia is losing key markets for energy in Western Europe, but they are denied the opportunity to purchase vital goods. In the long term, this can be devastating to the Russian economy. It is also bad for Russia's partners, because as these sanctions continue to grow, so Russia is likely to increase pressure on partners to try to subvert these sanctions, to find ways around it, which will expose Russia's partners to potential sanctions from the West. And Russia, therefore, is becoming more and more of a burden to partners. It is suffering domestically. At the very least, the economy has stalled. It has lost key markets. It's not able to get crucial materials. It is not getting the investments that they hope for energy exploration. So I think overall, this is not a good situation for Russia, though Vladimir Putin continues to try to frighten the West.
Right. Well, certainly a very serious situation, a very big summit. There's lots to discuss, to unpack here. We can go much longer, but I'm afraid we're out of time. Aurel Braun, Professor, really appreciate you helping us with this important topic.
Thank you for having me on.